Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of News You Can Use. On our program today, we are shining the spotlight on a young woman who has published not one, not two, but 3 books, and all of them are very, very special. So she'll tell us about her books, and she'll talk about how she got them done, and just a little bit about her life and how she got to where she is today. She has an exciting testimony to share. I'm talking about Tanya Morris. You want to keep your dial where it is at LaSalle TV 56. We'll be back with our guest in a moment. Hello, everybody, and we thank you again for tuning in today to this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Theora Martin Milling, and I have a special guest in the studio with me. I'm so glad to see you, glad to have you as our guest, Miss Tanya Morris, published author.
Thank you, Theora. So glad to be here.
Wow, we've known each other for like years and stuff, and I have watched you do a lot of different things, wonderful things everywhere you worked. You worked at places where you were helping people and lifting people up. So why would I be surprised that your books would be about lifting people up? Your newest book is The Power of One.
Yes.
How to Impact Lives by First Changing Your Own. Wow.
Yeah.
Tell us about that book first.
It's just kind of awesome how it all came about. And I think for me, I really want to stress in the book that there are 3 areas that you need to look at if you're going to have a real impact and have real change in your life. Stewardship, mentorship, and leadership. Stewardship is really just that. It's about being a good steward and being responsible first for your life and the gifts and the talents and the things that you've been given, money, and then being able to be responsible for the other things. I'm huge with mentorship. You know that. You met Samia a couple weeks ago, and actually last week, a young lady that I've mentored to start her own business. So I'm huge on mentorship. I think, you know, it is the greatest vehicle to have an impact on someone's life is by being a mentor. Going back to college, you know, Mimi Brown was one of my first mentors in radio, and I've watched so many of you all from afar. And then leadership, you know, being a good leader. People, you know, often say that it starts with being a good follower, but I believe that you can develop the leader within you, and there's ways that you can do that. So I'm really excited about the new book and talking about the power that we all have in us to really have an impact on people.
So you would call this like a self-help book, basically?
Self-help, inspirational, motivational, I'll talk about. And I've got some exercises and some tools in there, some things that you can do.
Tools.
Yes, I got some things in there that you can do. You can write out some activities that you can do. And stewardship, what are the things that you have, the gifts and the talents that you need to look at. I talk about developing a mentorship circle and the activities that revolves around that. How do I develop my mentor circle? There are people in your everyday life that are mentoring you that you may not even realize in the different areas that they're doing it. And so that's your mentorship circle and how to really tap into that. And then the same thing with leadership. And the leadership chapter is really special to me because I talk about 3 people in particular that I looked at for leadership. Bishop James Dale Robinson, who I consider to be a leader's leader. Gene Hunt from the...
that would be Yesha Ministries Robinson, Bishop Robinson, where Yesha has it going on.
So, you know, that was my pastor, that was my mentor for many years. Gene Hunt, who was my supervisor when I was at the Urban League doing the free income tax stuff. And then Kim Washington, who's a young woman that runs the Frankfurt CDC, who has been making some great strides down there. So I talk about each of them and the fact that I compare them to agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We talk about superheroes, and each of them have a superpower as leaders that I want to talk about and think that we all can tap into.
So as somebody who is coming out of, let's say, domestic violence, and usually when people are coming out of domestic violence, their self-worth is lowered, they're, you know, kind of not sure which way they're going. Would a book like this, The Power of One, help someone coming out of a situation like that, perhaps?
I think so. I mean, I think that there's something in there because you can look at the stewardship area and really look at, if you have children, many times, someone in a domestic violence situation, they have to be concerned, they're concerned about their children.
Yes.
And being stewards of them and making sure that they're safe. And those are some of the things that we, believe that you can pull from.
Right.
As well as mentoring, getting with somebody who has come out of a situation like that, and following their, not necessarily steps, but following their example that says, hey, she did it.
You can live a different way. You
Yes.
can live a different way.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. So now your book's going to be available on the internet.
Yes.
And you have your own website.
Yes.
So people can order it from your website or from other websites as well.
So the new website launches next week. thepowerofthetea.com. That launches next week. We're going to be on iTunes, Amazon, Kindle, every Nook, every ebook device that you have, you'll be able to get a copy of The Power of One. So we're excited about that. That's new for me. Because my first two books, that kind of stuff wasn't happening when I wrote my first two books. So that's new for me. So I'm really excited about that. Yes.
That is awesome. And speaking of the other two books, let's now go back a little bit. I wanted to do your most recent book first because I'm just so excited about it. The Power of One: How to Impact Lives by First Changing Your Own. What a title, what a title. And it sounds so positive. But you had two other books too, so talk about each of those.
Well, Drop Your Baggage, which was the last book that I did, Drop Your Baggage, it's really a makeover book. And I used to be a huge fan of Extreme Makeover. That was my show. And what I did was I looked at Extreme Makeover and I took some things from Extreme Makeover and showed you how to apply it to your life. Everything from the appraisal. The first step in a makeover or a first step in getting a house renovated is the appraisal. What's it worth? What's the foundation? What's it built on? What we need to do with that? Then there's the blueprint. You have to come up with a plan, a strategy. Which rooms are we going to start with? What are we going to do in each one of those rooms? And we just kind of go on from there, taking that idea of a renovation plan and applying it to your life. And in that book, we interview some people like Taraji P. Henson. We talk, look at her life. A lot of people don't know she was a cruise ship singer before she went on to be the person that we see now every week on those that watch TV. And Tashina Arnold, we had an opportunity to talk with her. And so those are some of the things, every now and again when I was a reporter, I'd have an opportunity to meet some celebrities and hear their stories outside of the people that we see, and some of them have some very powerful stories. The other book is Divine Inspiration, the process of fulfilling your divine destiny, and that was when I was real deep in spiritual then and really wanted to. That was my foray, my first step out there. I never wanted to be an author. It's just ironic to me. I never really wanted to be an author, but here I am 3 books later. That came out of an experience that I had with a young man that I was mentoring at a local halfway house. Really came out of that experience and helping him to get his life together and get on that path of fulfilling, and doing something different than what he was doing. So. Those are the 3.
So now, when you decided, I'm going to write a book because I've got something I want to share, be that your first book, Divine Inspiration, or the 2 that came after, each time you do a book, in my head, for anybody who writes a book, it's like a step of faith. That, number one, I can do this. I can really do this. And then the publishing part. I mean, do you self-publish? Do you go look for a publisher? How does it work? And how did you do that part? Did you self-publish or did you go find yourself a publisher?
Well, I've self-published all 3 times. The difference this time compared to the other 2 is I have a team this time. I'm not going in alone this time. It's funny, I was talking to I don't know if you know Vandy Coulter, used to be on the radio years ago, but I was talking to him about publishing. I was telling him, listen, I was writer, editor, layout, publicist, distributor, the whole 9. He said, he said to me, he said, Tanya, people get self-publishing mixed up. He said, what you did, that's self-publishing, where you go through the whole entire process. So I didn't have to go. I didn't really do everything this time. I have a publicist. I have
an editor.
So I have an editor. I have somebody that did the layout, and so it's a little different this time. Doesn't change the worrying and at the end
do
of
you
the day.
trust the editor?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
God.
yeah. You gotta trust
That
them.
is a hard piece for
It
me
is. It really
because
is.
I mean I've had people edit various things that I've written for a few magazines, for some newspapers and all that, and every time when I get the product back, I'm like, I don't recognize it anymore,
So
and
true.
that makes me
Yes,
nervous.
yes,
You
yes.
know.
I know exactly how you feel. And I really think those experiences there, when I was at the Sun and at the Trib and at the Daily News, I think those experiences made me a better writer. I really do. I think they made me a better,
Well, sure, yeah,
more
right,
disciplined
right.
writer. And I have a great
Jerry
editor now.
Mondesire edited your work sometimes.
Yep, that was and
Wow.
actually the Power One is dedicated to Jerry.
Special.
I would not be the writer that I am had it not been for Jerry. Gave me my first writing job out of college.
Yes.
And so I'm happy to say that I dedicated my new
How
book
special.
to him because
How special.
just has a fingerprint on my life as a writer.
Yes. I love Jerry Mondesire
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
and still missing him here
Yes,
in
yes, we
Philadelphia.
are. Yes,
And
we are.
I have told Kathy Hicks, I said, look, I'm getting ready to send you an article,
Yeah.
so you can put my article in the paper in support of the paper
Yeah,
and
yes,
keeping it
that's
going.
right.
And I know that
That's
Joey Mondesire, Jerry's youngest son, is taking over the paper
Yeah,
and going to operate and run it. But we're gonna.
Yeah, I talked to Teresa
send some
today,
stuff
actually, the
over.
editor, and I'll be following up with them because I want to do
Yes.
something similar to what you're doing. I want to
Yes,
put,
yes.
a promotion about the book and let people know that this is the power of one. And when you see somebody like Jerry and the impact that he's had on all of us as writers, as community activists,
It's amazing.
those are the kind of people that we want to really kind of spotlight in our life at that fingerprint.
Now, just before we started taping today, I come to discover you've got a special connection here at LaSalle University. So it tickles me because so many of the wonderful guests that I have an opportunity to bring through this studio, I come to find out they're all LaSalle graduates, just about. Not everybody, but a lot of them. The last shows that I taped, I had Sister Ann on from the Mercy Family Center in North Philadelphia on Venango Street. She's a graduate of LaSalle.
Okay.
And then her PR director that she had with her, he's a graduate of LaSalle. She has her master's. I mean, it's just impressive, the people who go here. And I've gone to LaSalle also, was not a graduate here, took some courses. And the best I ever did was when I was in LaSalle with my grades. Because see, I went to school out of town and was cutting up out there and partying too much. And had I been at LaSalle, I'd have been a whole lot more behaved because my parents were right here in Philly to look out and watch out for me and say, hey, a little too much partying going on.
This is a great program, the Business
yeah.
and Professional Communications program. It's different. What I ended up graduating with is a little different from what I started with, but it was really, really a great program. I would, I shout out to Liz Zelly, Elaine Zelly, who was my favorite instructor while I was here.
All right.
It was a great program as far as, learning some things about communications on the graduate level that, that you really don't think you know.
Yes,
Making you a better communicator, understanding theory and practice and putting those things into practice. So,
LaSalle.
I think I've got all the colleges in the region under my belt because I have my undergrads from Temple. I have my graduate from LaSalle.
Go ahead, girl.
And I still got a little crawl in my mouth because I wasn't accepted in the Penn, but Drexel,
Do you know I wasn't accepted at Temple? I wasn't accepted at Temple University. Well, it was an early admissions program.
Okay.
And so your senior year of high school, you go to Temple if you could pass
Right.
it. And they didn't think I was ready, and they told my parents that, no, she can't go. So my parents said, you apply for a school someplace else. That's how I ended up in Wisconsin, to tell the truth. So I did get accepted in an early admissions program, senior year of high school, but Temple wouldn't take me. I ended up out in Wisconsin.
Wow.
Wow. And so I'm still a little hot with Temple for that, but that's okay. So anyway, thank you for sharing that part of your story.
Yes.
We're going to come back in just a moment.
Okay.
We'll continue talking with our author extraordinaire. So stay with us here at LaSalle TV.
Today, a new creature walks among us, terrorizing innocent citizens. Until this threat can be contained, we must all be on the lookout for the dreaded digital deadwalkers.
Dude,
they're not looking out for you.
Engage.
A public service safety message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, who want to keep everyone well connected with strong, healthy bones.
Life is hard. Effective consent is simple. Do not make hookup decisions if you won't remember them. For more information on sexual assault, visit nomore.org.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
He's following me. He knows where my next class is.
%31% of female victims stalked by an intimate partner were sexually assaulted by that partner. For more help, visit www.victimsofcrime.org.
Hello, everybody, and we are back as we continue with this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Thera Martin Milling. Glad to be with you here at LaSalle TV 56. Also, the show is seen on Verizon Fios channel 36, and we appreciate the opportunity to share information and to encourage people whenever we can. I meet people all the time who talk about, I'm going to be a publisher, I'm going to be an author, I'm going to write a book. I'm one of them. My book is done. It's in a binder, it's done, it's in the computer. I paid the first $1,500 for it to be printed, and haven't paid any more. So I still owe the publisher money to actually get the book out, right?
Okay.
Like get the book out. But I feel encouraged every time I talk to people like you who've done it, who aren't just talking about it. And that's why I don't talk about it anymore. I really don't talk about it so much. I just want to like do it. I just want to get the last bit of the money, pay my publisher, and just get it done. You know,
I'm always in awe of people. I was telling a girlfriend of mine's mom a couple of weeks ago that I'm in awe of the T.D. Jakeses and the Joyce Meyers of the world.
How many books do they have?
I'll
They
stop counting. They spit out books, you know.
Right. You know who's like that? Reverend Terrence D. Griffith, the president of the Black Clergy of Philadelphia Vicinity. He's got like 10 books he's published.
That's what I'm saying. They spit these books out like it's nothing, which is which is amazing to me. I mean, it really probably took me 2 years to finish The Power of One. I had the idea and I didn't even have a title. I was I was writing about it, and the thing about writing a book is that as much as you may try not to tell a lot of your experiences, when you get into the process of writing it, you end up telling your experiences. Like I had a health scare during the time that I was writing that book, and it just came to light again recently. I had lost my grandmother when I wrote Drop Your Baggage, and it's just amazing how you have these experiences. I was making some changes career-wise, and being able to share those experiences. And then even the mentorship chapter, which is probably my second favorite chapter, I talk about these different ladies in my life that I've had the opportunity to mentor. And
throw me some names right quick. I just want to know, like, are any of your mentors were some of mine?
You met Samia, who is a young lady I started girlification with.
Yes.
And again, like I didn't get in to start a T-shirt or a company, to build up young ladies and show them how to be ladylike. That wasn't what the plan was. The plan was to help Samia start the company, and I ended up staying on because I really believed that our girls needed something and someone that they could look to that said, hey, I really want to develop and be ladylike and develop develop those mannerisms. So now we're about 4 years in. I mean, we've got people, everybody from Drew Sidora, who's an actress that wears our stuff, to Carla Clarkson, who's a celebrity, one of the sexy singles, and
But now wait a
Moshe
minute. But
Loren and all these folks.
Girlification is a nonprofit.
Yeah.
And,
well,
and
we're for profit.
You're for profit.
Yeah, for profit.
And it's about
but we're social
mentoring
enterprise. Yeah, we're social
young
enterprise.
ladies.
What we do with Girlification is our goal is to inspire and empower young ladies to be ladylike in 3 ways: clothing, social media, and special events. So we're a social enterprise because, we want to make money from the sale of T-shirts, but we want to use that money to reinvest, to be able to do events like we did last year, Pretty in the City, which was a fashion show that we did that featured young ladies that were in foster care, and it was an opportunity to build their self-esteem and to work with them in areas that they had not, really knew that they could shine in. So being able to do that, we did a back-to-school event, a couple in September, where we gave girls bag of supplies. Everybody was giving away book bags. We gave away stuff for girls. We remember, she writes too, we both remember and still do, writing a journal every day, writing in our diaries every day. So we gave every girl a journal, a diary, and we gave them, a comb, and feminine hygiene supplies. We gave them things for girls, so those are the types of things
you talk about how to
do.
sit like a lady?
Yes, those are the things that we want to do.
Because I see these young ladies with their legs wide open, and God forbid, well, most young girls nowadays don't even wear a dress or a skirt. They wear pants all the time, but it's still not the way for a young lady to sit. You sit with your legs closed, ladies, and stuff like that.
Stuff like
when I
that.
see young
How to
ladies
set a
on the
table,
corner with the boyfriend, and he's rubbing her behind and kissing down her throat on the corner, while she's waiting for a bus to go to school. She has a school uniform on, school bag on her back, and I'm thinking to myself, if your mama or your grandmama came riding down the street right now and saw you hugged up with this boy, he's massaging your behind and kissing you and all this stuff out in public, I don't think your parents would be very pleased with that.
Not at all, not at all. And then you have this beast of social media. Just over the weekend, we saw a father disciplining his daughter on social media for her public display, of what she was doing. And those are the type of things that we really want to try to. So all of our apparel tie into what we want to teach. So rule number 1, each one is a rule. Rule number 1 is always be a lady. Rule number 2 is look pretty, think pretty. Rule number 3 is I'm perfect with my imperfections, and classy, never trashy, and I am the prize. It's so funny. I'm watching Steve Harvey one day. Actually, a friend of mine was watching Steve Harvey, and he called me and said, Tanya, Marjorie Harvey's on Steve Harvey's show talking about you, talking about rule number 5. I am the prize. I was like, what? So those are the kinds of things that we want to really begin to instill. And actually, just a little news flash, we're actually going to do a rule book for girls that has all of these rules in them and how we interpret them. And we're going to probably release that at Pretty in the City in March. We do that as a part of Women's History Month. And we're going to do that again next year. And this year, next year actually we're going to honor a young lady and an older lady honor of distinction.
Mothers who have young ladies, and what's the age group you deal with, and how can they get engaged?
We deal with girls 14 to 18. That's our target. Is like girls 14 and 18. But a lot of we get a lot of mother-daughters that come. Moms love the shirt so much they get the T-shirts and they bring their girls and get one. So it's a little bit of both.
Well, now when you were 12, 13, 11, 12, 13, did your mother put you in charm school or something?
No,
modeling. So
no,
my mother put us in charge.
Yeah, I mean, but I had my mom and my grandma. Today grandmom is 35 and 40.
I mean, the whole etiquette thing. My mother, I can remember her setting the table with all the proper, and teaching my sister and I, this is how you set the table, and the knife and the fork go here, and this, and everything. And a lot of girls and or young men, they don't get that kind of home training in 2015. So if you learn it, you learn it, on the fly, I guess.
You learn on the fly, you learn on the fly. And so we did some etiquette classes last year. And so those are the kinds of things that we really want to instill. And you can definitely check us out at girlification.com. And that's girl with a U, GURLIFICATION, girlification.com. And you'll see some of the videos up there. Miss Teen Pennsylvania is one of our young ladies, one of our brand ambassadors. Jasmine Daniels, she's on board with us.
I had a
and
chance
so-
to meet a young lady, Sanjay Williams, from the Lifetime TV show Bring It. She was in Philadelphia on
was she?
Saturday,
Okay.
the 14th of November, the day before the end of Universal Circus in town.
Okay.
And so they had brought her in for that, and she did a dance performance
nice.
and what have you. But positive young lady, very
Nice.
nice young lady, and very ladylike. I noticed I kept
Nice.
watching her because I was taking care of her
Yes.
that day for her little time while she was in Philly.
Nice,
She's a sweet young
awesome.
lady.
Nice.
And that's what I want to see with more of our young people, as opposed to
Yes.
swearing and cussing and wearing jeans where you got to show the crack of your butt and
Yes, or
and
show your
you want to show that
underwear,
you have a
yeah.
thong on because is that cool or something? It's not disgusting to me. It's just not
It's
appropriate.
just not appropriate.
Like, I don't
It's
want to
just-
see your
it's just-
behind while
it's
I'm
just
eating
not
dinner.
Appropriate. So those are the things that we want to do with girlification, and that whole mentorship chapter in The Power of One. I told Samia I hope she's ready
Yes.
for her story to be out there, because I talk about our relationship and how we built this business in that chapter, and then some other girls, young ladies that I have worked with through domestic violence and and death. One of my girls that lost her son at a very young age in a car accident. So those are the things that we talk about, and then those that have mentored me throughout that path. So. It's all about that power of one. We all have a superpower, whether it's advocacy, whether it's communication, whether it's strategic planning. We all have a superpower that we can actually influence the lives of others, but it begins by first changing your own.
Tanya Morris, remember her name, and she's got 3 books out. Drop Your Baggage, #1, Divine Inspirations, #2, and #3, The Power of One. You can get all of her books. And the newest book, The Power of One, has its own website.
Yep.
But the other 2 books you can
They're
get on.
available on Amazon. Yep.
All right, all right. Is there a phone number where people can be in touch with you for girlification or any of the other wonderful things you're doing?
267-770-4002, and the website again releases next month. It is thepowerofthetea.com.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
I
you,
appreciate
Theo.
you.
It's
I
always
love
a
you so
pleasure.
much.
It's always-
Nice to have a good friend to help you out when you need them. And as we wrap up, let me just say we're coming into the holiday season. It is here. Thanksgiving, Christmas, the New Year. There's always some not so good people lurking around. While we know that the majority of the people in Philadelphia and throughout the tri-state area are good, positive, loving people, there are people who would do you harm. My mother, who's 76 years old, was robbed at gunpoint a week ago while shopping at Cheltenham Square Mall. Be careful while you're out and about. Do not go dangling with purses hanging from your arm. Just be aware of everything that's around you so that you can enjoy the holiday season. That's it for us. I gotta go. Have a good one. Be safe, everybody. Take care.
Somebody robbed your mom.